this is my Raw review, and probably one of like the best Raw this year, and probably one of the best Raws of the decade, maybe. Like the first, like more than an hour, uh, first hour of the show was just women's segments and women's matches. Uh, of course, this won't happen every week. I think WWE did this because they got the headlines after Evolution. I think Evolution did more well than they actually thought that it would, and everything that happened made sense. Only one men's match happened, which went on for a while. Like I think it went on for, I think the entrances started at 7 something, and the match ended I think at 8 something, like some minutes past 8. So it went for a full hour. I think probably a little less because there were many entrances there, but like the segment that happened first, like this is so easily booked that Io and Rhea, like Naomi won, and Io and Rhea had a match. They didn't pin each other. Rhea has a legit, because has a legit a, a legit argument to go for the title because she had Io pinned. Io has a legit argument to go for the title because she lost in a cash in, and Naomi is there posting and all. One thing did felt a little bit racist, like where she said like, uh, "I didn't know what you were saying." Like when Carlito said some same stuff, he was criticized. Why isn't Naomi? But okay, like we can forgive her because maybe she is in character. But apart from that, this is such an easily booked match. Like it makes sense on paper, anyways. So it's set. It's triple threat: Naomi, Rio, Rhea, and Io. And Naomi is gonna retain her title most probably. Like I think Naomi is gonna. I do hope they don't have Io get pinned again. Like Io just got pinned. If they have Rhea pinned and in a triple threat, I don't think the world will fall down. One thing that I didn't like was that why was Io laughing, and why was this Rhea and Io coming out to the ring and talking? It would have felt much better if like Rhea came out, her music is going, and then Io's music hit, and she's running, and then both are running, and then all three of them have like a brawl, and then Adam Pearce comes out screaming that wait, 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 like we are gonna have this at SummerSlam Triple Threat. I think that would have worked much more because it kind of makes sense that she cashed in a match where both of the competitors felt that they had a chance to walk out of the second all women's pay-per-view as a world champion. Apart from them, I will say only the weak point of the show was Nikki versus Chelsea. One thing was very funny that you could clearly see the male audience in the crowd like saying "Let's go Chelsea," and the girls, like not with the women, like the young girls saying "Let's go Nikki." And I think what the match was nothing much. It was fine. In the end, like I think only thing that was a little bit weird was the rack attack 2.0. I hope that Nikki goes to another finisher because first her neck cannot handle these moves, and second it didn't look good. But in the end, Nikki won, and you had a backstage segment earlier where like the secret harvester was mocking her, and I think they are setting up Stephanie and Nikki versus Secret Harvest at SummerSlam, and I do think the matches are either going to be 12 match cards or 14 match cards combining the both nights, because if you go by the announced matches and the matches that are probably going to get announced this week on SmackDown and probably the next week, AJ and Dom also, so already 10 matches are set. Like probably at SmackDown you're going to get Jacob versus Solo announced. I can see that be like a no DQ some stuff, and you'll probably see Black and Knight also get announced. Black and Priest also get announced for SummerSlam as well. And you have AJ and Dom. Earlier, you had what, 5 matches were already announced for the show, and you're gonna get Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson also. So I think this is This is going to be a 14 match card because people should know this SummerSlam is not just another SummerSlam. They are running two nights in like WrestleMania level stadiums. So they need everything that they have. Like I I don't like that there are going to be a lot of tag matches which are not going to be like tag team title matches, because you know when there are tag matches in WWE which do not have the titles involved, they usually are like either mid or like mediocre. They are not like great matches. So I don't I so but the rest of the match, I do hope Cody and Cena get a stiff announced, because I don't think Cena can work without interferences and without like smoke and mirrors attached. I don't think he can do that. One thing I really like, this show really made it feel like the World Heavyweight Championship was the main focus. Like Gunther boasting about beating Goldberg, like having the gauntlet announced. Like Paul Heyman felt more natural with Braun Breaker, and I think it is a work like that Seth Rollins injury. I think he has an injury, but it's not something that is like major, because I do think they know that their plan is to have Seth cash in at SummerSlam. It's just that they don't want to make it too obvious. They want some surprise element to it. So that's why like they're taking Seth off television and having him then return at SummerSlam and do stuff there. And I can see probably the thing is I don't like how they treated LA Knight. Like first, like because he has so much momentum, like you can see how much the crowd was behind him. Like LA Knight like first had a promo in the ad break. Then second, he had a match where Braun Breaker did rake his eyes, but that was not really like hyped up in the commentary. Oh, he raked his eyes. Even though they can like correct it while like LA Knight can come out next week. And then you had Jay being the one who interferes, but not LA Knight. But then when Roman came back, I kind of got why they had Jay being the one who did two run-ins, while Jay was doing his entrance midway. Then he then he came out to his music again. I think the match was solid. It was not the level of that Sami Zayn gauntlet match, but this was probably Braun's career performance. Like he shows that he's ready for this, and that like he had proper 50-50 matches with everyone, especially with LA Knight. It felt like two titans were going up against each other. Punk felt such a natural. He wasn't there for the show, and then he came out in the last, started beating up Braun Breaker in a jacket. In the end, maybe ending was a little bit, damp, that Jay just hit Bronson and then CM Punk hit Breaker with a GTS and won. But still, it was great. Like Punk showed that even in this old age, he can go in the ring for a while. And Braun Breaker showed that he has just unlimited energy. He was going for like 20-30 minutes. He's still running the ropes hard. He's doing his dirty talk. He feels that he's ready for the role now. I think Paul Heyman worked really well here because he has two guys who are like unproven, especially Braun, and that dynamic works for him better. And also with Seth Rollins, is you already have a talker there, and then Paul Heyman doesn't really get a chance to talk, so it kind of like the dynamics don't work there. And you can see Roman returning and the crowd just losing, people jumping in the crowd singing Roman Reigns. It's just that his schedule kind of fucks everything. Like I don't mind a part-time schedule. It's just that the part-time is so like if you're involved in like major storylines, I won't have mind if Roman Reigns stayed till Backlash. They had the Roman and Punk versus Breaker and Seth Rollins match where Bronson Reed interferes. Maybe they beat up, like maybe they pin Punk, and then they beat up both CM Punk and Roman. They do like a triple powerbomb him, and then Roman, goes away from television and then comes back right here. It's just, I think Seth's faction needed Roman Reigns at that point, and also that I think that what Roman did was that that is the thing. I don't mind Roman being part time. He has earned it. He also has had cancer and everything, so it makes sense for him to be part time. It's just that if you're involved in like major storylines, I think you need to figure out a way where when he leaves, you're not like he can then easily be swapped and the people that he's going up against do not lose steam. So it was a great return. You're probably getting Roman and Jay versus Bronson and Braun Breaker. I'm glad Bronson Reed is getting a spotlight also because I would have preferred Roman versus Braun Breaker, but that's like a WrestleMania main event stuff. I think they are gonna hold on to that for later. And I think this is going to be a little bit like, you know, I'm curious because they can easily have Roman win. Like Roman can spear Bronson Reed and win because Roman and Cody are both going to be gone after SummerSlam, like for a while, because both are playing roles in Street Fighter. So I'm like, what do you do? Like they can have Braun and Bronson win also. Like Jay is there to take the pin. They can have Jay take the pin, and it can be something that it's actually like can work in character development because Roman has since returning uh, like against the bloodline after his thing with Solo Sikoa, he's not really won anything. Like he got eliminated in the Royal Rumble. He was the one who took the pin at WrestleMania, got beaten up after on the Raw after Mania, and is back right now. So I want to see what happens here. So I know they're probably gonna have Roman win, and anyways he's gonna go off TV. But I want to see what happens next. One thing that I'm glad, I think the out chants are good for Gunther overall, that he's a heel. But I think when he has just retired Goldberg, then him getting those U tapped out chants, I think works against his momentum in a way like this. Like in the end, like you're getting Gunther versus Punk at SummerSlam. It's just bad that Gunther is probably not walking out from SummerSlam as world champion. Like I can see CM Punk winning the World Heavyweight Championship and Seth cashing in, or Punk is about to win, Seth cashes in, and he wins the World Heavyweight Championship by pinning CM Punk. I think that's what's gonna happen. I'm kind of not like liking it. I get it, but I'm like, couldn't they give a chance to Gunther to actually be the guy on Raw? Like he's a world champion. He just beat Bill Goldberg in his first defense, retired him. Maybe Seth can return and like help Gunther beat Punk, but Gunther like escapes with the world title because I do think he has gotten some momentum back. He's actually facing big talent. Like he retired Goldberg. He's facing Punk probably at the night one main event. Like this is going to be the night one main event. I don't think any of the women are main eventing the shows. I think this is probably going to be the night one main event. So but at least he's getting a SummerSlam main event in front of probably more than 50,000 fans. So I'm happy for him, but it's just that okay. But Lyra versus Becky was great. Especially I think the first two falls were like tedious, were slow, but I think they were deliberately because it was building up to the last fall. Like Bailey got a early fall, and then they were just working on each other. Like Bailey was working on Lyra's back, and Lyra was working on Bailey's knees, and like Lyra selling is like you can feel the danger in her eyes, in her voice when she's selling. And Bailey also had a meaner streak to her. You had the crowd going, "This is awesome! Let's go, Lyra! Let's go, Bailey!" chants also. And in the end, I think the right person. When I thought that this would be like a TKO stuff, that Bailey would win because Bailey's the bigger name and everything, but they made the right decision, and the last fall was actually very amazing. Like the like hitting that reversal into a quick Nightwing, like the desperation, like the quickness. You were like yes, and then you had Becky coming out in red and yellow, like she knows that people were calling her Becky Hogan. That was also awesome. And you're getting was Becky versus Lyra. Like, can this use the stipulation in a way storyline wise? It will make sense for them to add a stipulation. Maybe an I quit. maybe something, because like their matches, their story, like them having the roll up thing and everything, a last woman standing match I think would make sense. And I can probably see Becky retaining the title at SummerSlam, because I think you could see Bailey's face after the match. Like she's frustrated. I can see Bailey turning heel at SummerSlam and Becky retaining it. And probably, I don't know who Becky then feuds with, because then who are the baby faces on Raw? Like maybe after SummerSlam you can have Rhea and Io maybe have go up against Becky. Maybe you can have Asuka and Kyrie also, because right now they're faces. They can go up against Becky for the IC championship. I do I do think like having that title on Becky for a while is good, because I think probably Lara is then gonna have a feud with Heel Bailey, which she's eventually going to win, and then I can see her going up into the women's world title scene and then being there rather than going into the IC title scene. And apart from that, also the Judgment Day had their tact had they were funny in their backstage segment, like we'll do it for Liv, like having Liv's photo there and everything. Also with the tag team stuff, like Pierce, like Austin Theory offered them toothpaste. I think that was a fun segment. Also, I think probably next week you'll get like a multi tag match who will decide who the number one contenders for Finn and JD is. I would prefer if like New Cash Republic is there and they actually win and have a defense, because they're not going to make it to SummerSlam. So I think Judgment Day versus New Cash Republic would be a good defense, because also four of them are great wrestlers. I think they would do well with each other. I think the Raquel and Roxanne versus Asuka and Kyrie match was fine, like nothing special. I think only thing was in the end Raquel should have been a little bit quicker with her putting her foot on Roxanne's ass. Like Roxanne just rolled her up and won. I kind of understand why Judgment Day won, but it's like then what do Kabuki Warriors do? Maybe I think uh, they have like a multi women's tag again for the women's championship. Maybe you have Kabuki Warriors, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and the Judgment Day, where Judgment Day wins by pinning the Kabuki Warriors in the women's tag team championship match. I can see that happening. I can see that happening too. So, and also one thing, the crowd was really hot. I liked the crowd, and the match quality was really great. Every match got time. It felt like this should be the standard of Raw. It felt like the feeling was like, of course, next week won't be as good, but if Triple H is locked in like this every time, he can put up a great show. He has the mind to do it. He just doesn't do it because he feels like he can just do his mediocre or mid slop and he can get away with it. But he has to know like that honeymoon period is gone because of what happened at WrestleMania, the build and all the TKO stuff. He needs to know that he has to lock in. Like you had Gunther and Penta confronting each other backstage. Everything happened like that AJ and Dom segment. I didn't find it funny at first. I find the Dom part funny, but I also liked AJ like literally praying to God that Dom gets injury free so that he can fight him. This is probably get announced next week that Dom and AJ are gonna face at SummerSlam. I never really expected that like the Dom and AJ feud will be a comedy feud, but I think this dynamic has actually worked for them. And I won't be surprised if AJ wins at SummerSlam, and probably you had a Rusev and a Sheamus segment also. This is probably the slowest moving storyline at Raw, because like I think Neil said it on Twitter, because it is like Rusev's storyline always moves like in 2 weeks. This Rusev versus Sheamus happened like 2-3 weeks ago, and now it is happening here. And maybe Rusev versus Sheamus happens next week. I won't be surprised if they do it the at the go home show, because I do think whenever this feud ends, Rusev is probably going to win this feud, and I think whoever wins is probably going into that IC title stuff. So I can see Rusev versus AJ, maybe Rusev taking that title off off AJ, and let's see what happens with that. But I think that's the direction that they're probably going to go with Rusev. I do hope that they give him more like time. This segment was fine, but that his like vignettes are the ones that really put him over in AEW. Like you need to give him more of that because otherwise you're not gonna get that much reactions from the crowd. And the show was just great. Like it didn't flew by, but the length that it went to, it was the perfect length. This felt like, yeah, this is the show that happened. One thing that the women showed, that even if you don't have men on the show, like we can carry the show, and they did carry the show, which I'm really glad to see. I hope more women's matches are added. We already have what, two, three women's matches, and I think probably it is going to remain the same, or they're probably going to add a tag match because they want to get Alexa and Charlotte on the SummerSlam card too. I don't see Julia getting added. I think probably they'll do Julia and Zelina at the Go Home SmackDown for the United States Championship. I don't see them making the cut, though I do want them to make the cut, but that's just not gonna happen. And things are moving quick because there's just 3 weeks to SummerSlam. A lot of stuff has been announced, and I won't be surprised if we see tickets selling out quick because Roman is back, and bunch of matches have been announced which are like good to great, man. So I would give this a 5 out of 5 show. Probably one of the best Raw this year, and one of the best Raws in the decade. What did you think about this show? Tell me in the comment section if you like this review, and if you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is sharpboy@OKICICI, is also in the description, so go donate any amount of money which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.